to have ideal nitrogen levels added to the map. So yeah, okay, fair due. But as soon as they do that, I will look at the winter on this map that happens, saying, okay, now I can add precision farming to this playthrough. But it does mean I'm not going to be planting any crops before winter. So no winter wheat, no winter barley, no winter canola. We're just going to run through and do all of the work in springtime, which is going to make our springtimes a little bit more hectic. It's going to make fall far less of a chore. Yeah, we're going to be yeah, it's late summer. We've got three fields harvested once we get this one done, and we've also got three more arable fields to do. So that's going to be fine for now, I think. Oh, I think I'm not going to be able to manage the full width. Yeah. Very close. Good guess, but I think looks like it may get narrower at the far end. But yeah, as the farm expands, we'll be adding more fields, and it's going to take us longer to do harvesting, longer to do planting. Summer's still going to be fairly leisurely, and you know, even if we're planting oilseed radish straight away in this field, and that's one layer of fertilization done, and then what would the next one be? Do the fertilization. Our planter also puts down fertilizer. Plus, before we plant, we usually put down digestate when I have enough. So I'm not doing much additional fertilization with liquid or solid. So our sprayer is used one time only on on the fields that need it. But it's not like, if you don't do that, then 3 layers of fertilization in seasons is what's called for, and that can take you most of the summer, because you have to wait between each you have to wait between each growth stage before you can add a new layer, and so you're out every few days adding fertilizer to the fields. But because of the way we plan this, I don't end up doing that. But we won't. We'll be doing a lot of digestate spreading in the spring. We'll be doing a lot of planting in the spring. We'll be doing cultivation in the spring. So it's there's a lot of jobs we're going to have to do in the spring. And that's going to make it overly busy, but it's going to make this fall, and potentially next fall, if we don't get into precision farming for this coming winter, it'll make next fall fairly light on the work. Now, of course, the other thing is once we got precision farming in, we may not be doing much of fertilizing at all if we're using natural fertilizer. Different crops need different nitrogen levels, so we're going to have to research that. And then on top of that, different crops need use different levels of nitrogen. So when you're planting sunflowers, you almost don't need to add any fertilizer because they replenish the ground, and they don't need much to start with. I think soybeans might be the same. Oh, now speaking of soybeans, I did see, I think it was Silver News was saying this week that somebody was looking at retexturing the soybeans so they looked like beans that grow in the UK. So, yeah, UK is not a major soybean producer. I think my dad grew some in his backyard, but it's not something you see in the fields of the UK. I still left the map open, so use that to judge the next cut in. 35%, we should have enough in the tank for that. So round about there-ish, 180 degrees. But they do grow beans in the UK, so changing the crop texture to be not soybeans but to be some form of beans would make it feel more right to be harvesting beans. Now, yeah, with seasons I've tended not to do soybeans very frequently because they just don't fit well into the rotation. They're never a good yield, or they're never listed on a bonus yield. It's always sort of 100%, 95%, whereas other crops you can get 110% yield based on what was planted the previous year. So as such, I tend not to bother with soybeans. Plus, you can't plant them till late spring or early summer. Frequently early summer just because of temperature, ground temps. And end of fall can be very wet, so you are really risking income from a field by planting soybeans, which is why I generally don't. But looking at it in precision farming, it looks like they might be a nitrogen replenishment crop, so you can be more natural, cycling between a cereal and soybeans. Now, it might not be an issue. I mean, we're using sunflowers. It's either sunflowers or canola as our opposite of cereal. And so, yeah, this field will have a cereal in it next year because it's canola right now. But and sunflowers and canola seem to work well as the alternate crop. Sunflowers are a lower temperature requirement than soybeans. They're not as good money makers. Canola is better because it uses less seed to plant, and I think also it has a better yield, or it has a better value of yield, not necessarily a better yield, but when you compare the income per acre, soybeans I think is better than sunflowers, but sunflowers is different, so it's one of the reasons why I'm doing it, because otherwise it would just be cereal, canola, cereal canola, cereal canola, and yeah, let's vary it a bit. So yeah, we're cereal, and there's 3 cereals, and then canola or sunflowers. Sunflowers plants later, canola plant. You can do canola in the fall as a plant. Yeah, we're always going to have wheat, barley or oats growing somewhere, but it's 3 different cereals, even though if the effect is the same. And I don't do corn for a similar reason. Corn just needs too high a germination temperature and is not going to be ready till late, although it is quite hardy. As long as it's not wet, you can harvest it. I don't know if this geo, I wonder if this geo does allow that. I don't plan on it, but where is it? There. So yeah, we can harvest all the way up into winter, but it gets questionable towards the end. So I like to have my harvests done by the end of fall. There's a lot of weeds over there, that's concerning. I also want to get rid of my planter. Hey, welcome back. Happy food. Yeah, I want to get change the planter because the seed tanks on our planter are just too small for fields this big. It's a good working width, it's just not good capacity. I have to figure out what to get and whether I can afford it, of course. But we need the planter for... What do we need the planter for? Sunflowers and sugar beets. I mean, that's the other reason why, canola and a cereal crop in alternation works fairly well, because you only need a seeder and that'll plant all those crops. And you only need one header type. But sunflowers makes a difference. I can't even see where our fields with the sunflowers are. They should be over there. I don't know. No, that way. Oh right. They're the brownish looking fields down there. It's the one just to the south of the close tree line, and then the triangle field up at the top there. But that one nearest us will be grass this fall once it's harvest. Hey Captain Zank, welcome to the stream. Happy Saturday. How are things with you? Look, so we've had two truckloads out there. So we've 40,000 litres gone so far. That's nice. Take a closer look at the grain truck. I think I'm going to have to empty. Well, that's one full plus a partial, I think. Might be two full. I keep forgetting this is only an 8,600 litre tank on this harvester. But, much of a field have we got over here? Guess we might make 80,000 litres out of this, so that's a good thing. And, oh, come on, come on, come on. Canola prices are that one. Ah, great demand. What do you mean great demand? 1280. At Hilltop Stores. Oh wow. 1280. I need to go here and there. 1280 for canola. Oh wow. I'm thinking I might sell some. If that great demand hangs around, we should definitely consider selling some of this. And that was again a reasonably good guess. I think it's a little narrower here, but I think it bulges out a bit ahead of us. So that, I think, is a pleasant surprise, having some extra, a great demand for canola at this time of year. That trailer's 20,000 litres. Probably pull the truck and the semi-trailer out. I'll do it that way. And we can ship what's at the farm to the store. Well, I can't do it with the semi-trailer. That's the problem. Hilltop Store's the one at the top behind us, and it doesn't have a very big yard. It has a lousy entrance. So putting the semi-trailer in there just ain't going to happen easily. I can certainly empty the cart from the field straight up there because it's really convenient. Must admit, Farm Sims 19, I don't pay much attention to great demands because they're really just an adjustment to crop depreciation value. So sort of as soon as you deliver something to a store, it starts a countdown timer which appears to be different for each map, but potentially you've got 10 minutes to unload as much crop as possible, sometimes significantly less, sometimes more. Sometimes there is no timer, and if you go with a dual trailer, you will get less income from the second trailer than you get from the first one, even though they're the same size. So the value of the crop starts dropping when you start delivering it. And so if you can deliver it all in one bulk drop, that's good. And it appears to me that a great demand is just a serious adjustment on that price drop. So while the great demand is going on, the price will barely adjust. Captain Zank, I don't know, why aren't you seeing Captain Zank's comments? But in Farm Sim 17, the great demand also boosted the price by 20-30%. So no. Yeah, it would boost the price as well. So great demands in 17 were a big deal because you would get more money and you would get a lot of opportunity to deliver it. 19 doesn't seem, frequently you can end up with a great demand for lower price than one of the other stores is offering. So just, like I said, I tend not to bother checking them, but this one is a seriously good deal. So we're going to do that, or we're going to take advantage of that while we can. Now, if it goes away before we get there, then that's sad. Oops, that one. Tractor's there. And we're pointing the right way. And the engine's not on. So yeah, 10,000, 17,000. So we're not going to have a good full tank this time, or full cart this time. Squeak. Although if you're asking about the impromptu talk about great demands, that wasn't prompted by a question, that was just me. Gauge drive forward. I still haven't turned the map off, so that's fine. That's not full. No, I shouldn't have lowered that yet. So round about here, let's get it lined up. 77, 80. In other gaming, I have been blitzing World of Warships again because they still have some of their winter promotions on. And I'm trying to earn at least a few free ships, most of which I already have. Strasbourg I don't, and I should have that earned by maybe tonight. Heisen is not possible to do just on playing, so I would have to fork out for a little bit of gold in order to complete that one if I decide it's worth it. But they've got a bunch of tier 6 ships, like per usual, but you need to have the Strasbourg to earn them all, and you either have to pay them $50 in order to do that, or play like crazy this weekend so that you can unlock the Strasbourg and then work the little quest line that gets you the tier 6 ships with their special camouflages. And back we go. So yeah, at times like this I sometimes look at this and say, oh, I could use a bigger harvester, but to be fair, we're making good time. We started this around, what would it be, 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 AM game time. And we've been going solidly since. So that's a good, yeah, it's only an hour and a half and we've nearly made 3 truckloads. It's not a slow deal by any stretch. But we are expanding into 20-acre fields, and so as that goes by, we're going to have to think about larger equipment or multiple equipments. But if we go with a multiple harvester setup, I'm going to have to use workers far more frequently, because I would have to set this field off on a worker then jump over to another field, set that off on a worker, jump back to this field, make sure I can unload the harvester, jump back to the other one, and it's going to be a constant toggle between the fields, just managing it. Plus we'd need another tractor and hauler, or we get a bigger harvester, which, yeah, nice, but they're darn expensive. How big's that biggest field we have available? Oh, that's 70 acres. Wow. Wow. That's kind of big too. That's 44. 36. So, yeah, there are opportunities for some truly awesome sized fields, which we would need to get. I definitely would not balk at getting a big harvester or two to work those fields. I mean, in a way, it's kind of that, or why don't I just extend the season to a 9-day season rather than a 6-day season? Because I mean, it's never a problem with your equipment size. The problem is the time you have available before bad things happen. So, yeah, it's day 6 late summer. Tomorrow's fall. We're sitting pretty when it comes to harvesting. There's going to be 2 days of rain in the fall later on. And it really depends at that point when the sunflowers and the sugar beets become available for harvest. But then they're not in big fields, you know, your 14, 15 acre fields, and we can do that very quickly. So I'm not too fussed about them. But when you're talking 70 acre fields, that's going to take in a harvester this size, you know, for 4 hours, that's half a day. And if you've got a few of them, then that eats up all of your harvest time. And then inclement weather just makes the entire thing a complete mess. So I think, yeah, for now. But yeah, like I said, adding an extra day to late summer and an extra day to early fall, mid fall, late fall each, it gives you more hours to do with the equipment you have. And I might do that as a shake-up anyway. Still considering the farming agency's version of this map. I'm going to have to, I still haven't done it, but I'm going to have to download it, transfer everything I have here to it, and play around and see if everything I'm expecting to see is where it should be, etc., etc. And if it works, then this winter will be a switch over. Now, I know Farming Agency uses Maize Plus. I think that's embedded in the map. And they also use the sort of expanded animal feeding mod, which means we're going to need to grow some carrots to feed the sheep. We're going to need to grow